Welcome back everyone to episode 3. This episode we're going to work on fuel delivery system. We want to deliver fuel to both incoming and outgoing, and we need to plan a place where we can store fuel. And my plan is to separate fuel in this system, in this place, with just logistic robots. So we'll work with that. First thing we need to do is we need to determine an area. And I was thinking this is looking like a pretty good area because we don't need much area, and we can bring the train from here, unload it somewhere over here, and then let it go from somewhere over down here. So let's see that. Let's do something like this for now, at least. Just to buy one. Let's put signals. Okay. And there we go. I want to name this guy just nuclear fuel. There we go. So I only want 1 by 1 train for this. And I want this guy to bring fuels. Let's see. I want him to bring, he can bring up to 40 fuels, but I also want him to bring logistic robots. The reason being is that, remember how we calculated if there's no items in it, it still calls a train over here, and that's because we don't want to come over here every single time we build something. My plan is to just put the blueprint down, send an army of Spidertrons, just make them go zigzag all the way through, build everything, and I need a lot of Spidertrons for this. And for that reason, I will also like to automate this process too. That's because I'm in the map view. I was confused a bit. I'm thinking we can make it bring up to 39 fuels and 50 logistic robots. Let's get the logistic robots, and if you guys didn't know about this, you can hold an object and middle mouse click on an empty area anywhere to set that place only be eligible to accept that item that you're holding. So if I do this, I will make sure that my system will only get 39 fuels and 50 logistic robots. That's the everything you can get. Now if you want to delete stuff, like this mess, you just middle mouse click it again and it deletes it. And you can do this with everything. What I usually like to do on my survival games is have my construction robots down here. So I always have a place to take them in my inventory. Anyways, that's enough sidetrack. We'll do that later. Train system managing. Let's do unloading right now. So we're bringing in fuel and logistic robots, which means we need a Robocop, which we can offload some logistic robots. What I checked back there is basically I want to have multiple of these systems going either down or like up the system, and I don't want them to be connected in one logistic robot system. That's why we have train. So I'm going to be careful, try not to intersect this area. The most I'm willing to go is probably this block, or maybe this block, depending on what I design on the top over here, but we'll see. Let's do this part first. Let's do upload. Well, we want to do the filtered stack filter. There we go. It's easy. That's only going to take what we tell it to take, which is going to be logistic robots. And then we can set a number of how many logistic robots we need. I'm going to try to bring electricity over here first. What if I move this guy a little bit to the right, just so I will show you guys why in a little bit. I put it over here. Okay, and let's fix this area too. If I bring it over here, what I can do is I can bring this electric pole directly up and up to where do I want to bring it. Let's see where my normal electric poles will go. And that's so that I can save this. I'm going to have to redo this again. Just give me a quick minute. And then logistics. We want big poles here and here. Let's see. Okay, we can put it there, or we can put it somewhere over here. I think I like this better. Okay, now we can offload the logistic robots. It's going to go to the system. And how many we want is, let's say we want, I don't think we're going to need a lot. Let's say we need 10. And we might tell this guy to just grab 10 at a time, so it's easier. Or maybe 1, maybe that might be more accurate. Well, let's leave it at, let's make it 5. Just a good middle point. I think we're done with that. That's pretty easy. And second thing is, let's take the fuel out. We're gonna have a storage chest for fuel. And that's that easy. How many fuels we want is probably 10 would be enough. Yeah, 10 would be more than plenty. And now we need to set a logistic system for the train stop. Now, when do we want the train to arrive here? We want the train to arrive here either when we run out of fuels, which is very likely, and the second case is less likely, but it's possible, and we don't want to fix this in the future, so we're going to cut it in right now, is when the logistic robots run out. Now, that's very unlikely if you have a safe base. If you have walls around your base, then that's very unlikely, but better safe than be sorry. So let's take this guy, decider, and let's take a cable from the robot, whatever this guy's called, robot port. And we're going to need 2 of these, and so we connect the deciders to the robot port. And first, like we said, we're going to say if fuel is less than or equal to, let's say, 5 in the whole system. Actually, do I want to do whole system? Let me test out something. Since we're going to use requester chests, does the RoboCorp include the stuff in the requester chest, is what I want to know. Let's say we have tree in the sword chest, and we're going to need to tell this guy to read. Oh yeah, it's already reading it, sorry. So, it tells us we have tree in the storage, but what if we had like 1, 2 on the requester chest? Now it still says tree. Okay, that's good. Then we don't have to grab a cable from this guy. Because if it did read the stuff in the requester chest, we might have like 1, 2, 3, and then 2 on this requester chest, because we're going to have a requester chest per locomotive, which means we could have all the fuel down here and no fuel for down up here. Which means when this train goes away, it might run out of bullets. And bullet, I meant fuel. And that's solved. That's pretty easy. So we're going to say if that's less than 5, if you have less than 5 fuels in the source system, then I'll put 1 with L. And if you guys remember, the default character for train limit for the gates is always L for limit, I believe. And the second condition is going to be when logistic robots is, let's say, less than 5 again, since we're going to take 10 in, and we need L over here. So let's test the system out. Right now we don't have enough fuel. We have 3 fuels, which we want 5. So this decider is telling us we need L1. Excuse me. And then we have 0 logistic robots. So this decider tells us we also need an L, which means it's going to request 2 trains. Now, I think 1 train is going to be enough for a humongous base, because it's going to unload and load so fast that we're not going to need more than 1. So 2 for now should be okay. And let's say we have 7 fuel. In this case, we don't need more fuel. And decider doesn't output anything. If you look at the right over here, doesn't output an L. But we have 0 logistic robots, which means this decider is telling us, oh wait, we don't have anyone to distribute these fuels, so I'll call this train and let me get some logistic robots, which he will grab from this part. But let's say we also have, let's say we have 10 exactly logistics. Then what happens? We have 7 fuel, which is more than 5, so we don't need a train. Why this guy? Because we didn't set this. For logistic robots, we need to enable this part. And I don't like having X, Y, Z, and T, which doesn't really make sense. What I like to do is, on logistic robots, I just put a picture of a logistic robot, or I don't usually do available because that's really hard to calculate, because available robot number will change. It might be 1 robot, but you have 9 more in the system, so you don't really need more robots. You just need like 30 more seconds for the robots to go back. And if I was going to use construction robots, total construction robots, I would have put construction robot over here, but on the system we're not using it. Let me just put it back to T, just in case. So now, well, we don't need X. Let's see what happens if we delete those. Yeah, I just want to get these outputs. So from the RoboPort, if you look at this side, I'm getting 10 logistic robots and 7 fuel. And like we checked the fuel, it says we need 0 trains for the fuel and 0 trains for the logistic robots. Therefore, the gate is going to require 0 trains. Now this system was pretty easy, right? And that is that system. Now what we need to do is we need to come up with a RoboPort system where we can cover this train and this train without going out our limit. So what we can do is we can either put it down here, but if we put it down here, it goes way too far down to other, like over here it goes other blueprint area, which means we would need to leave a lot of space up here, which is also going to be hard. So what we can do is, well, I think before that we need to figure out the loading system, and most likely the system that's going to go in between here. Now, loading system is going to be pretty simple. I want to have 4, and then we're going to do the usual. Where's my robotic arm? For loading to the chest, for loading to the wagon, and then we're just going to distribute like this. And I'm just going to put a full belt. Oh, well, hopefully. Not everything might be full belt. And then, oops. Why is it doing that? It shouldn't. Oh, this is when it does it. Okay, I'll do it manually. And then how many more? 1 more. Okay, this should be our loading system, which means that we might be able to get away with just putting RoboPorts over here, and then maybe over here, and then the last one would be over here. And if we want to make it look better, we can just do this and align the logistic robots together. Now they need electricity. We can either do this, or I don't think I want to use another electric pole, another type of electric pole. Now one thing we're still missing is electricity. I just want to bring a pole, big electric pole over here. That's good enough. So we have electricity on everything. So now let's figure out what we want to put over here. Now what we put over here is going to be different, and this is what my episodes are going to be based on. I'm basically going to use this same layout for every single thing that I want my mega base to do, other than research. For research we need to come up with something else, but for example, smelting is what we started with. We're going to make a smelting design over here for full belt. Like, it's going to unload for full belt, one wagon full belt, unload it on a line, or maybe like go over here so we can use the full space. And then somewhere over here, I want it to come over here. Now, a couple things that can happen. One thing is that with smelters especially, we might just need a small area. Let's say we just use this much area for the building stuff. Then we would have this much space that we're wasting. What I plan to do is if we get this case, I want to copy my offloading system and then paste it somewhere over here and then rearrange the railroads so that I would have two smelting areas in one city block, which would save me a lot of space. And it might, in Factorio, the denser it looks, better it is, as long as it still looks clean. So we might go with that. Now, I want to put a radar somewhere over here. And then how I want to do that is let's take this guy and then just pull it up over here. And then put a radar just down below the electric pole. Now we have coverage on everything. I like this. Now, let's save this blueprint. This is going to be our first blueprint, but before we do that, I want to change this name because when we put a system down and use this default blueprint, I don't want us to get confused or forget about it and just have iron ore train come up to a random place, like let's say Green Circuit area. So what we want to call this is total mystery. Let's call it a ghost. No, I like that. Okay, and I think this covers our first blueprint. Oh, we forgot to do the logistic robots for up there. Let's do that real quick. Now, we're going to use this electric pole to bring our roboports up there. Let's do this. So we would have space over here too, maybe. No, we don't. Oh, we didn't do. For this area, let's pull this guy one back. No one's gonna realize that. Let's middle this guy, and then let's put our radar on the other side. Perfect. And then bring the electric pole up. It's good enough. Let's copy paste this all the way through, and then I think at this point, or maybe this one. Now, if we use this one, it would go way up over here, and it would connect with this guy on the Wanabelle city block. We don't want that. That's the tricky part. The furthest we can go is, I'd say, is right over here. Let's see how far we go down here. Oh, we have a lot of space. We have 3 blocks after the train route, which means where we can go is, let me just copy paste them just to make sure. Let's say the other city block train is over here, 1, 2, 3, and then let's put, I need a normal lock in my belt. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's our limit. Okay, I will delete that later on. Don't worry about it right now. Just trying to figure out where I can put this. So this, if I put it over here, they would be connected. We don't want that. This is the furthest I can go on the y-axis. Now I could go here, but that could interact with the belts. But let's put them over here first. And I just remembered that I also forget to put feelers for these guys. Let's put them over here. And like I said, we're going to use requester chests. Now let's make sure, see, that it doesn't cover the second robot. Can we move this guy one to the right? Yes, we can. So let's do that. Let's move everything one block to the left. And we're gonna have to rearrange these guys. It shouldn't be a big problem. Done. No, does it cover it? Yes, it does cover it now. So we're gonna request 3. So even if the train comes in almost empty, it can fill all the way up. So if you copy this with the robotic arm, of course, paste it. Oh, you see? The logistic robot has already started to put fuel in. Let's put them over here and over here. And we're going to use electricity. Let's put this one. Let's put these two over here. I don't know why I couldn't get the robotic arm, but it's okay. Okay. And save. It filled it. This one is fully filled. How about these guys? This one's getting full. Oh, we ran out of fills. That's why. Well, that's not important. In survival game, our train will just go back and restore. Now, for now, I'm willing to accept that these being this far, let's try and copy paste it. Oh, I'm gonna need to move it one right. It's okay. Can you do that? Oh, you do perfect. And we'll see how the system works. We might do some more adjustments, but as we can see, we made the reverse C, which was unintentional. But we have connected top part and the bottom part with the train refueling system. And let's make our first blueprint. And then we're gonna go blueprint, go to this corner because the last 2 episodes go up to right over this corner, and boom, that's our city block. Let's call this just trains. Oops, let's call it. Okay, stop clicking on the same thing. Train wagon, train. Let's call it something simple. Oh, cut it. Play it. I decided to call it electricity pole and rails because that's basically all we have. And let's make the snap to the grid, and it should be perfect. Okay, why is it 304? We'll do the adjustments right now, maybe. We're gonna need to copy the train stop names, and not on this one, but on the later ones. When we do smelting, green circuit, red circuit, we are gonna copy trains so that we don't have to make the trains, and Spidertrons can just build them themselves. But we'll worry about that later. Now let's worry about the grid position. Now let's figure out the grid positions and see what's wrong with it. Let's say this is okay. Okay, let's look at this. Looks like we need to move 2 on the y-axis. Let's look at this point. 2 on the y-axis, and then 2 on the x-axis. Which shouldn't be a big problem. Let's put it over here. Let's do +2 and +2. And if this doesn't work, it's -2 and -2. Oh, Perfect. This works just nicely. And next episodes we're gonna work on these. And I want to show you guys that I didn't include this guy, the creative mod included, and not this belt. I will delete it. We only have the vanilla stuff in our blueprint. And you can find this blueprint in the description below. And that is it for this episode, guys. This is what we end up having. Next episode, we're most likely going to work on smelting. We're going to do iron smelting, which is going to be similar with copper smelting. We're only going to change the train station names, which is only going to take 30 seconds. See you guys next episode.